now to practical means of coping with food insecurity. We've already established that everyone feels it, that there's food insecurity in Nigeria, and then we also have to accept the reality that people do not have money. Well, some do, but a lot of people do not have money to be able to foot bills, and we know how important food is. Everyone must eat. They say a hungry man is a hungry man. Okay, so now I'll be asking my guest here in the studio on how do you think that people could still manage? We know that food is expensive. It's one thing if you have money, then you go to the market and even things you want to buy is not available. Thankfully, we've not reached that stage yet here in Nigeria. But how do an average family with limited resources, how could they still cope with the present crisis we're in?
Okay. Well, with what we are experiencing now, not only in Nigeria, I think go across global, and the people need to try to cut, their quota to their need, and they should see how they can reduce how they spend and that so that they can meet up. The prof was talking about the urban farming and talking about the yield and that. Truly, the yield has not been, that's something that is, good for the farmer. But the other way to meet with that, how to get, good results from your farm product. We have different variety of, the seed that can be used and that, rather than resulting. And another way that can, help to meet up with that is, mechanized agricultural, farming. If we can go on mechanization, we'll be able to meet up with our demand, because I know a lot of farmers in Nigeria that could not meet up, could not, go into mechanized farming because of the cost that attached to it. But if government can come into that angle, that can also contribute in that. Meeting up with the food, or how to reduce the cost. Number one, we as a Nigerian, we need to wake up. We've been talking about the government. Is this a responsibility of the government to do some certain things? Is this also our responsibility to also do some certain things to keep ourselves alive? If you have been, lamenting or putting everything to the government and that, and most especially one of the mistakes that we made in this part of the world, Nigeria, is we always focus on the federal government in Abuja rather than starting from our local level. I don't know what the local government are doing to see how they can provide food for the people within their locality. Go to the state before going to the Abuja. Abuja is far away from here. We ourselves, we Nigerians, I as a person, how can I provide for my family? Let's put aside of I'm an agri person, I'm a farmer, but everybody can be a farmer. Everybody is a farmer. It's the only thing that is allowed within the civil service rule that you can do with other things that you do is farming. The government encourage that starts doing something. And the government themselves, I think I've been listening to a lot of jingle from different states, from different local government. So if the government are not meeting up with the demand, why don't you let us see how we can provide for ourselves? We have the new style that is going on now by using bag in planting. And without using any GMO, without using any fertilizer, you can produce a little within the environment where you stay. Whether you are a tenant, whether you are a landlord, it's something that is doable. You don't need to break your landlord cemented compound. You don't need to break your corridor. You can do it like a flower pot and plant onions. It's just a small cup like this. You can plant your vegetable. So if we can start doing that at the moment that we have now, that we've discovered that the government has failed Nigeria on the aspect of providing for the need of Nigeria and the aspect of food, why don't you let us also resort to producing for ourselves? After all, we have a lot of to Nigeria, a lot of things that we produce for ourselves. We provide electricity for ourselves. We provide security for ourselves. So, and they say everybody is a security. So, if everybody can be a security, let everybody also be a farmer. Let everybody be a food provider for themselves. In as much that the people that we are looking up to, whether the local government, the state, and the federal, they paid us. They can't give to us. So we can also start doing that. It's one of the urban farming that we can also be done.
Okay,
and
alright.
we have the poultry farmer around us. We can get the chicken pool, the cow pool to use to back in that. If we can do this, it's going to help the harvesting. It's good. Just like what the prof was saying, instead of resorting to the GMO, this all this pool can resort, give us a very good yield.
Okay, all right. But now you mentioned that if wherever you are staying, you don't need to break into the cemented ground of your place.
Yes.
You could use flour pot, you could use cement
You could
bag
use
or
the
rice
polythene
bag,
bags.
polythene bag, and all that.
Yes.
But now, what about people with unfriendly landlords that would not let you do things like that in their compound? Even if they are fine with it at the first stage, I don't know if I should call it envy, or for whatever reasons they might come up with some excuses.
Yeah.
Even if they give you permission at 1st, they might come up with some excuses later and tell you that they don't want you doing this anymore. So what about this? Or people who live in Face Me and Slap You apartments, how do they go about that?
Yes, in Face Me and Slap You apartment is doable. In as much of the little space they have within the compound to play. And what they just need to do to have, as so far they have meeting together and they contribute in pumping their water, they contribute for their security, they can also have meeting and agree. This is the portion. They can share a portion. It's to help themselves, it's to keep themselves alive. So they can agree on that. And this room here has this portion with little 5 nylon bag with vegetable and this and that. Room B have this. On the aspect of the landlord, I as a person am experiencing that toughly because despite the fact my landlady told me that she made a lot of money from fish, and I told her before getting to the house, I'm a fish scientist. I'm also a fish farmer, and I took permission because I stay in a 3-bedroom apartment, self-compound. There's a little space at the back. Though I agree, she said she's going to build, and I never stop her building. But I told the brother I want to put some pond here. And coming again, she said, no, she's giving me 30 days to remove it. Please. And I said, no problem, if you want me to pay, I'll pay. But that will never discourage me. If she said I should not use her space, I can look for that space to use. And after all, I have a space within if I cannot do the large, fish pond at the back, I can have, because I love fish, I don't eat imported fish. What I eat is what I produce. So I can have just a small, a bath within the front of my door. She can't stop me from doing that because I'm paying for it. But
so
in as much
perseverance,
yes, we just
challenges.
the way we talk, we can relate to the landlord or the landlady to just do this. And we are not taking the house, we are not taking the land, everyone, but we just need to see how we can manage each other. And we are all Nigerians. We need to provide for ourselves. See, Nigerians are lamenting. They are feeling too lazy too much. I have an auntie in Canada. She produced a wedu that she, consumed here in Nigeria. I send the seed to Canada.
Then she
plants the wedu there. She plants the shoko vegetable. She plants everything there. The ugu also. The bitter leaf is germinating in Canada. So if she has a little space within that compound and with the weather and it's surviving, what is stopping Nigeria? We that we have a very good friendly soil and very good friendly weather to produce this for ourselves.
Definitely. Alright, so now let us sample Professor Akinleye's opinion on practical means of coping with food insecurity regardless of the little amount of money at our disposal.
All right, thank you very much. I concur with everything that was said before now. I believe, of course, that necessity is the mother of invention. For many of us, we're quote unquote were spoiled. We've been spoiled by Nigeria over the years, and we've forgotten where we're coming from. As I talk to you now, I have a little garden to the side of my house. It's maybe like a sixth of a plot of land. It's not a lot, but I got three beds out of it, and I get my bitter leaf from it. I get my leafy vegetables from it. I get ewedu from it. I get what's it called, gure. I get water, that's water leaf. I get plant number. I just planted okra a few days ago. So if I go to the market now that I need to cook a pot of soup, all I need to do at best is maybe I can buy ogbono. I don't need to buy anything again. Maybe pepper. I've not gotten around to pepper. And of course, with everybody now growing yam in sacks and all of that, I think I have like 14 sacks that I'm preparing to pack my yam in. So I mean, we can do it once you decide. Sometimes it's to grow fish, sometimes it's to have rabbits, just some things we can do on the side. It's subsistence. You're not doing, you just turn it into a hobby. For me, I just look at it. I could take a 1 or 2 hour walk in the morning, or I could walk on my farm for 30, 45 minutes. I get to sweat more when I bend down and I'm cutting grass and all of that. It's a mindset thing. Of course, there's also people substituting lately, which is a lot of fun. And we have people now substituting tomato, using beetroot, using cucumber, using watermelon. I've tried the watermelon at home. It still has the watermelon taste, and I use it to eat yam, and I love it. Okay, the other time I took my wife to the market, and she was pricing yam, and she was obviously distressed. The tube of yam was 8.5, and you know how woman can be. It was almost like it was my fault that yam was 8.5. So when I just got that, I just looked at the person selling the yam. He also has sweet potato. And I said, how much is sweet potato? A full nylon bag of sweet potato was 1,500. The next day, I had sweet potato instead of yam. If I were to buy that quantity of sweet potato, it will almost last me like a month. So we don't need to always complain. Then another option I also would advise people to do is also to look at bulk buying. Okay, if there are enough of you, you can decide to buy a goat and share, buy a cow and share. If somebody is going to the village or going for a party, instead of just four people being in a car, all of you also pool money. If you are going towards a rural area, you remove the middleman. Buy as many fruits, as many vegetables, pepper and co, and put it in your car. This is for a defined season. Like I said earlier, it's seasonal, it will pass. But I think it's a lifestyle that many of us need to inculcate and start to live with. Mourning about it does not change anything. Find a way to make a difference in your life. I mean, I look at the kind of money I've saved on some of these decisions I've taken. And I'm a happy man. So everybody should have that conversation with themselves. Some places where people plant flowers, you can plant things that are going to give you food you can put in your stomach. So it's just a readjustment. There's little you can do in the short term. Maybe in the long term, other things could happen. But for now, this is where we live and this is what we have to live with.
All right, thank you so much. It has really been interesting, it has been educational, it has been informational. Thank you for sharing your opinion and thoughts with us on Firecrackers. We truly appreciate it. Okay, all right, definitely, please. But quickly because we're running out of time. Go on.
Okay, well, let me quickly chip in this. In the habit of food scarcity, high cost of tomato and that, I think I would like to advise our government to it is their responsibility and to provide and secure the Nigerian. The agriculture, I can see that there has been splitting of different departments in the agriculture, blue economy, and marine, department of livestock, and that is very fantastic idea. But how do we put more effort to meet up with the demand of the people? We'll be, advising the government we need mechanization. If we have been doing mechanization a lot, we won't have been where we are today. You can never see with the war going on in Russia. Have you ever seen any Russian coming out to saying they have rather than Russia coming out, it's we Nigerians that we, take wheat from them that we are,
From Ukraine.
from Ukraine, crying of, we have scarcity of the semo is scarce in the market now, the wheat is scarce in the market.
Right.
So we need to have more reserves. Let us produce enough. If we have scarcity now, if we produce enough, we have in the silo, what we just need to do to bring it out and start.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your input. Thank you. And that's David Tokwe Odetola, agri expert and farmer. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. And many thanks to Professor Oludiro Akinleye, who joined us live from Lagos. He is an economist and agent economics department of Unila. Many thanks for being with us today on Firecrackers.